going to go immediately to my guest, someone for whom I have enormous respect for everything about her, but you know the trait that I believe is the rarest of the good traits, and ultimately the most significant, and that's courage. Candace Owens is the Director of Communications for Turning Point USA, and she has also done 2 videos for Prager University, and she was essentially attacked yesterday in Philadelphia, along with Charlie Kirk, the head of TPUSA. And it's on video. You can see it. You should see the calm with which she and Charlie responded to Antifa thugs. There is no comparable right-wing thuggery to the left-wing thuggery that is taking place in America today, but because the press believes the old left-wing motto, there are no enemies on the left, pas d'ennemis à gauche, is their motto, they never bother attacking them. Candace, welcome back to the Dennis Prager Show.
Thank you for having me, and can I just say, they will not win.
Well, if they don't win, it will be thanks to people like you and Charlie. And for that matter,
right. And you guys.
Yes, that's true. I include us, absolutely. And let's talk first about, what is it, the old Dragnet thing? First, the facts, ma'am. So what happened? Where were you? What happened?
So Charlie was in Philadelphia for 24 hours. I actually lived there. And we had a meeting with our graphic design team at 9 a.m. I said to Charlie, hey, I know this great cafe. Let's meet at 8 a.m. and eat there. We get there at 8 a.m. and it wasn't open yet. They were about 5 minutes late to opening. And we're all standing outside, and they opened the doors, and Charlie and our COO, Tyler, we were sat down first. The very first people sat down in the restaurant. And behind us, a group of 4 people who we saw were dressed in black, but we didn't think of it. It was so early. They had the Antifa decal on them, and they were instantly recognized Charlie first. And they started sneering, just looking at each other, and they were on their phones. It's very clear that they were like, is this Candace and Charlie Kirk? You know, they kept looking back. They were sat very far away from us. Just by chance. They were sat nowhere near us. We were by the window of the restaurant. They were towards the back of the restaurant. And it was just, obviously, we both knew who we were. We knew they were Antifa. They knew who we were. Oh, well, Antifa's allowed to eat in a public space, too. We didn't think anything of it, and that was our first mistake. We underestimated the left. So in that time period, we ordered our food was served, we were eating it. They must have been on their phones coordinating to have every other Antifa thug member show up to the restaurant. They did not say a single peep during all of this. They didn't snicker at us, nothing. Suddenly, at the window of the restaurant on the outside, people were throwing stuff out the window. We look up, and there's about 15 to 20 Antifa gang members outside, and they are screaming, and they are yelling, and they're throwing stuff out the window. The manager doesn't know what's going on, and I began recording saying, here are the losers Antifa just shut up, because apparently we're not allowed to eat at this restaurant. And at which point, now that they have their thugs in tow, they were emboldened. And the people that were sitting in the restaurant said, get out of here, you effing Nazis. So Charlie and I...
Wait a minute. Wait. Forgive me. Who said to you, get out of here, you effing Nazis?
The people that were sitting in the restaurant had said nothing until their 25 Army gang members showed up. And now they knew that they had an overwhelming majority. They said nothing the whole time in the restaurant. But now that they were out there, their harassers were outside banging on the door, throwing stuff at us. They were like, okay, now our crowd is here, and we can now stay in the restaurant, get the F out, you Nazis.
Okay, I have a few questions. First of all, was it sheer coincidence that they were Antifa members?
Sheer coincidence.
I see.
They were genuinely waiting for the restaurant to open as we were. I
see.
Yeah,
I get it. Yeah, that's what it seemed to me. I don't think they would know. You didn't even know where you would be eating. They certainly couldn't know that.
No, and I changed the restaurant last second. We were supposed to eat at Charlie's Hotel, and I said, I actually know a better cafe.
Okay. How did the owners respond?
The owners were shocked. The waitress, you can see in one of the videos, when I turned around and said, after he said, "Get out, you Nazis," I said, "Are we not allowed to eat here because we're conservative?" And the waitress is horrified, and it was a little blonde girl, and she just had her face, she was holding her face, just shocked at what was going on. And the patrons, other patrons of the restaurant, actually said to us, "These guys are such losers. They must have been conservative, or maybe they weren't. Maybe they just principally just thought, this is insane. These people are sitting here peacefully having breakfast, and now they're causing a ruckus." And then the Antifa members that were outside, one of the men came in and said, "They're not Nazis." He wasn't even dining there. He said, "They're not Nazis. They're soft fascists." At which point, a black server said, "You're not allowed to do that here. You need to get out."
Wait. Said that to whom?
Me and Charlie. So he basically came to back up the ones that were sitting in the restaurant. They were starting to just come into the restaurant.
Wait, a black waiter went over to you and said, "You cannot eat at the restaurant"?
No. A black waiter stopped the Antifa member that had walked in and shouted to us that we were soft fascists. The black waiter stood up for us. And he said, "You guys are not allowed to do that here." And he started pushing the.
Oh, good.
No.
This is very important. So you the blonde girl is
just standing there horrified.
Just horrified. The black waiter stood up for you.
Yes, he said, "You're not allowed to do that here," when they were shouting at us.
And what did they? All right, good. And what did they do when he said that? Called him a Nazi?
No, the guy listened and started going out because he saw that we were walking out. So they were just going to take the party outside. They did not start screaming in the restaurant until we got up. Once we saw that a crowd was gathering at the restaurant, our instincts were pay the check and get the hell out of there, So we literally dropped cash in the box.
Why isn't your instinct to sit there and have the restaurant call the police?
Miraculously, that you're right, and we should have probably instantly said, "Call the police," but we just thought, let's get out of here, because we saw them throwing stuff to the window, but we didn't think that they were going to barricade us. But miraculously, by the time that we got out of the restaurant, there were police officers already there. So they must have saw before we realized that they were starting to assemble outside. There were the first police officers I remember seeing were about 2 or 3. By the end of it, there were about 10 police officers.
Now, I still don't know, and maybe there is no answer, but what did the actual owner of the restaurant do, or was he or she not there?
So apparently the manager was there. I only know this because I saw that he spoke to local newspapers about what happened, and he just verified our story, that the people were throwing stuff out the window, that we were sitting there eating peacefully, and that, madness ensued.
In retrospect, and this is total Monday morning quarterbacking, I just want to know for the future what you would think. Do you think that you did the right thing in getting up?
What the other options were, they were starting to come in. As I said, the guy who said the soft fascist thing, they were starting to come in.
But if they do if they do bad things in the restaurant, though, I assume it's a greater felony than screaming epithets outside the restaurant.
But we would have given them more time to assemble. I mean, they were just coming out of the woodwork.
Oh, so I get it. Believe me.
Our fear was being barricaded in, and then they get more violence, and because they had bullhorns. I mean, this was a coordinated effort.
No, it's horrific. I mean, it's a terrible situation. I saw the video, and it's 5 times worse being there. Then something was thrown on Charlie.
They threw eggs. And the eggs missed him, and then they threw water, which hit him. And they started cheering, and we're very excited. And at that point, the police officers built a wall. It was literally a wall of black and Spanish men protecting us, and their backs faced to us, and their fronts faced to the violent gang members.
Incidentally, calling you a Nazi, I just wonder, because I know a great deal about Nazism. And I taught modern Jewish history at Brooklyn College, and obviously there was a big section on the Holocaust, so I have a great familiarity with it. I don't recall there ever being a black Nazi.
No, there aren't any. They were acting like the brown shirts, though.
Yes, absolutely. No, they are what they yell at people. Were any of them arrested?
No, so the police officer at that point, were they conducted themselves with such professional nature, they came to us immediately and said, "Do you want to press charges?" And Charlie said no. And his reason for that was two things. He said he didn't want to martyr them, to make them think, "Oh, I got arrested for fighting." You know, that's what they want. You know, they want to think that they're a martyr for some cause. And he said, "Look, I'm not hurt, and we're the better people here."
All right.
And out of the situation, we were able to showcase.
You certainly were. God bless you, Candace Owens. I'll be back with Candace Owens in just a moment. All right, I didn't know if Candace had to go or not, so I told her God bless her at the very end. So I'm not retracting it, Candace.
God has blessed me in many ways, and in a weird way, He blessed us yesterday at breakfast because we were able to showcase to the world why we fight on college campuses, what we are fighting on college campuses.
Not just college campuses. I mean, this is America. We don't do this. The conservatives do not do this.
Nope. We don't do this.
If anybody listening is a liberal, they must adopt Alan Dershowitz's view, the liberal Democrat, Hillary Clinton voter and supporter, and that is to understand the left is a far greater threat than the right. And he's a lifelong liberal Democrat. Anyone who doesn't understand that doesn't want to understand that. So you guys endured it. Where could people see the video? Should we just put it up at our? We already put up. We have a link. Okay, so we have a link to. Who took the video? By the way, a friend of yours?
No, it was Charlie has a production assistant who was attending the meeting with us, and we knew as soon as we got up, let's start recording because we don't want to be in a hearsay situation, you know. Where they say we said something.
No, you have to. That's it. Yes, I had an experience like this at the place I work at, which is an upscale gym in the Los Angeles area. Guy, I come in after my workout and go to my locker, and I hear this guy. He must have been, I don't know, 55, 60 years old, and he just starts screaming in the locker room, and it's a very quiet place except for music in the background. Screaming curses at me, fascist. He was getting red in the face, and so I didn't know what to do. I'm as calm as Charlie, and I just said, you're just making a disturbance here. People want to enjoy their workouts and take a shower in peace. You're just ruining it for everybody. And anyway, so I vowed if this ever happens again, the second it happens, I will video. Well, the same guy did this about 6 months later. I videoed it. He was out of the club permanently in one day.
That's amazing. And that's why you have to video it. It's to protect yourself.
That's exactly right. Now, I have one other question. To the extent that you could recollect this, first of all, how many Antifa people showed up? There
were about 25 Antifa thugs.
Okay. Were they
standing on tables? They were standing on tables at the restaurant. They had outdoor seating. You can see in the images, they're standing on tables. These people are not civilized. This is a violent.
By the way, you and I got to get back to the arrest issue because we may or may not differ, and it doesn't matter if we do. But I need to hear your thinking. But I just want to establish something, if there's anything to be established. Can you generalize about any aspect of them in terms of age, in terms of race, in terms of sex? Can you?
They are all white. Every single one of them was white. You'll see at a certain point in the video when they started screaming at me and the all-black police force, it was all-black and Spanish police force, save one police officer. One of the 11 police officers was white. The rest of them were black and Spanish. It's Philadelphia. It's a 44% black city. And they were screaming at me and the police officers, "You're race traitors, no such thing as a good cop," like screaming.
Wait, so white...
Yeah,
folks, where we're entering a surreal world. Whites are screaming at blacks that they're traitors to their race.
Yes, that was what was going on.
Right. Okay.
You guys are race traitors. You're standing with the police officers.
So now, all right. Now,
officers.
any generalization? Was it a totally mix in terms of male female?
It was a mix between male and female, evenly split, I would say.
Right. And what about age?
Bright pink hair and bright yellow hair, and I would say that these kids look like they're young. They've got to be from 18 to 21. I picture it being, because it's obviously funded, people that didn't go to college. Making $20 an hour. I've heard they make $20 an hour. Antifa protesters, and it's the perfect market. They're uneducated, and they're young. These were not 30-year-olds. You know.
How many of them are living in their parents' basement?
They've all of them. They've all got septum piercings and tattoos. And the number one thing, and I say this seriously, they all look like they don't shower for weeks. Like it's a symbol, and that's why we recognize them. They're very greasy and very dirty. It's a part of their Antifa culture. It's not to shower, not to clean. It's I guess them saying, sticking it to society that they're not going to get in line. But that is something that is remarkable that you notice across the board is that they are.
Well, look, the truth. Let's be honest. BO is an effective weapon. I mean, let's be honest here.
Yeah, I know. When they were, remember they had bullhorns and were screaming in my face.
I know. So yes, so here is a scene of a white using a bullhorn at a black woman being protected by black and Hispanic policemen, but they are the progressives. You're the racist. This is the world of the left. This is the world of the Democratic Party. People need to understand this. This is mainstream Democrat today. Now,
not a single Democrat politician has condemned it.
Exactly correct. Because there were no enemies on the left. Leftism was my field. That was their major motto. All right. I think they should be arrested because I want there to be consequences. That's what we'll talk about next time. It will be a good consequence if everybody donated $1 to Prager for your consequence. They won't win. Well, that's very sweet. We in TPUSA are a terrific team. All right, you're the best.